Gluteus medius tendinopathy is a painful condition over the top of the thigh bone. It's something you're going to see more in middle-aged to older ladies, and we'll come to the reason for why that is shortly. But first off, we need to know some of the don'ts. For example, you don't sit cross-legged, because this is putting tightness in the side of the leg and it's pulling the IT band up hard against the damaged area and cutting the blood supply off. And you don't lie down on your side because, again, you're pressing onto the damaged area and cutting the blood supply off. If you've got a gluteus medius tendinosis, you'll know, because you will know not to lie on the side of your hip. It'll get very achy and very distressing. And so when we've got this damaged tendon, there's lines in that tendon that are really sore and damaged, and you don't want to get into rigorous ballistic type exercise like hopping on one leg or exploding out of the starting blocks or whatever. So this is work that you don't want to do. You want gentle movement and sustained holds with the legs wide so that there's no restriction to the blood supply. So if you're a runner, you need to run tall. Don't run with the knee across the body and the belt line sagging. I'll show you. This is knee across the body. This is the belt line sagging. And this has got a lot of stretch on this area. The glute medius is trying to do all the work. So instead of that, you need to run tall. Now just watch what happens when I run tall. Knee out to the side, belt line equals off. So if you're a keen runner, you can still do some running, but just do very short bursts and walk in between. Because if you do really long sustained runs, fast or slow, you'll get tired. The sore body part is overworked and will weaken, and you'll find that you're sagging into the damage zone. So again, just tall, but just run for short periods of time. Of course, you can always walk or bike or swim. Okay, so for the exercises, we want to retrain the body so that lazy muscles around the area will take over and work for us. We also want to put a sustained minimal movement load on the gluteus medius and its tendon. So let's get started. We start lying on the mat with the legs slightly wide. Now, just watch my feet. I just relax and there we go. And now it's very soft like jelly around here, and the blood supply can get into the area. We're going to exercise the TFL muscle to start with. This is how we find it. Put your thumbs on the bony top of the thigh bone, the greater trochanter. Bring the thumbs 3 centimeters up towards your armpits and about 2 centimeters forward. Now we can feel that TFL for when it activates. My feet, toes point to the ceiling. Feel the muscles firming under the thumbs. And now take the heels, press the heels into the ground and send them wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax, toes out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes up, push the heels wide. Feel those muscles working. 3, 4, 5, and relax. I think you get the idea now. Nice and soft, jelly-like. Toes up, press the heels wide. The TFL is working. Go into a sheriff-like stance, like you've got your 6 shooters, come off your horse from a day riding out around town. So the knees bend and go a little bit wide, the sheriff. TFL muscle, the thumbs up 3 centimeters, forward 2 centimeters. Now just take the toes already pointing forward and press the feet wide. Not so hard that they slide on the ground, but there we go, the TFL is working. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then adjust a little bit of knees side to side, nice and relaxed. And again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. 3, 4, 5, and push the feet wide. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. The next muscle we like to work is in fact the gluteus medius. And to find that, we go to the top of the jeans hip pocket. About jeans hip pocket? I think so. And we go into a monkey position. So just watch what happens. The bottom goes to the wall behind. The knees bend wide. and that's monkey. And so now we take the feet, both feet, and press them wide. And we can feel the glute medius working. And if we poke our bottom a little bit further back, it's working more. And then we just come up and with the knees slightly bent, a little tiny movement just to get the blood flowing again. Bottom back, knees wide, press the feet wide, and there we go. The muscle's working. This is putting a sustained load. It's putting a sustained load on the gluteus medius tendon, and that is the stimulus that heals it. Bottom back, knees wide, monkey. Press the feet wide. I don't know if you see it, but this is feet pushing wide. There we go. 3, 4, 5, and bent knees and just relaxed. Now finally, we want the big gluteus maximus working. We find where that muscle is by putting fingers just above the sit bones, about the bottom of your jeans back hip pocket. And it's back into that monkey position again. Feet wide. Bottom to the wall behind. Bend the knees wide. Now, to get the gluteus maximus working, often it's not working, and that's why you've got a problem. So we just take the body about 5 centimeters towards the side we want to work. Place your fingers on your kneecap. Now push into the heel and feel for the glute max firing up. If it feels like jelly back here, well, squeeze your glutes together like squeeze on a credit card and squeeze and pull your back passage up and in. Is that firing up now? Have you got a bun of steel? Well, let's come out and just relax and come back in. Down, over, check, push into the foot and squeeze the glutes. 2, 3, 4, 5, and up and just relax. And again, hips back, knees wide, check the positioning, push into the foot and squeeze that glute. Buns of steel. 3, 4, 5, and up. And so now we move on to our massage. We want to stretch and loosen up all the tissues around the side of the thigh and the hip, but not over the greater trochanter area where the damaged tendon, bursa, and insertion points of the tendon are. So for massage, we start just with the side of the thigh. The easiest way to do this is from Roman feast position. Now, a Roman feast, we've broken all the laws. The knees across the line of the body, the belt line's out of kilter, and we're pushing onto the sore area. So just get the hips up, and now everything's straight and looking a lot happier. Put the foam roller in. I've got my foot to take a little weight off me, and the hand. You notice the thigh bone staying in line with the body. The hips lifting, and everything's configured nicely. We can go right along that side of the thigh. Oh, that's good. So as long as the hips are lifting, we're pretty right. So we can just pause on a sore spot. Now if we take that hand and roll the foam roller up towards the hip, and now we're getting some stretch on the IT band. And we can go to somewhere else, rocking, finding a knot somewhere, there's one. Roll the foam roller and so on. Right up to, but not onto the bony greater trochanter. From sideline, I've got a small bounce ball. A tennis ball is a little bigger and actually possibly more fit for purpose. We put that on the muscle above that GT and we go into sideline. And you'll see, here we go. Now, and we just roll around there. If it's a little painful, we'll just put a foot up and knee up and just let your hips lift a little. And we roll around, jiggle, jiggle. And there we go. I'm sinking into a painful knot in the muscle. And maybe I can focus that feeling of discomfort a little more. If I just take my body and take it 1 millimeter towards the wall at my feet, just down we go. Yeah? And then I can take my body and move it 1 millimeter up towards the wall behind my head, just and there. Or maybe I take my body just 1 millimeter forward. So we're getting a slight difference in the pressure of the ball. It's not pressing totally inwards, it's also stretching a little bit sideways as well. How about I take my body and go back a little? Yeah, and it's just giving that micro stretch that we need. We've also got the gluteus medius, which we can lie in a bridge position. We'll just put that ball over the top of the back jeans pocket, the back hip pocket, get the opposite hip up, and that's a beautiful massage. Rolling over, and maybe we'll find a knot. There's a knot, sink onto it. We don't want the pain to be greater than about 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. And so I've sunken onto the ball. I can take my body a millimeter towards my feet. Did that focus? No. Take my body a millimeter towards my head end. That's more focused. Oh yeah. It's a little micro stretch happening. And so sink onto the ball, go forward a little, not really, back a little. Oh yeah, now I've got it. So we've got a little bit of side stretch as well as pressing in. We can do the same things on the wall, I'll show you. Foam roller, side of thigh. Go into that monkey position, hips back, knees wide, put the foam roller in. And we can massage. And just using the hand to roll the foam roller up and down, putting a stretch as well as pressure on the knots in the muscles. There we go, that's nice. We can roll a little towards the wall, a little away. We go to the area, sort of gluteus minimus and medius area above the greater trochanter. In we go. Now we need to go into monkey, hips back, knees wide, and the elbows forward, and the ribs are close to the wall. And we just up and down, and forward and back. We keep off that bony protuberance, that greater trochanter, and there we go. And find a spot and squeeze and push into it. Now that's, from here we can go forward, and we're onto the TFL muscle. This time just shake the arm behind, with the body's looking towards the wall. Up, down. Oh, right, that's good. Oh, that's so good. So when you've got gluteus medius, insertion point pain and tendinitis, this is the overworked muscle, the TFL muscle. We can also do the gluteus medius, or top of your back jeans pocket area. And just, again, bend the knees wide, get into the wall, and away we go. While you're there, you might go over the whole of the back pocket area. Pressing in, there's a good spot. If I just, when I put the pressure on, just come up a millimeter, down a millimeter, to the left, to the right, and just focusing on the area. Now for stretching, there's certain tricks to stretching. We want to make sure that during the stretching, the pressure is not directly pushing onto the sore area, the overlying tissue of the iliotibial band pressing on the sore area. So we just take our knees a little bit wider, and the knees now not too far across the body, and away we go. So that's just more immobilization, not too much. Jiggle, jiggle. And you'll find the level that's right for you. It's getting the blood supply in. Getting you a little bit, it's nicely warmed up. Getting a little bit of blood supply in there, get the healing going. Now the rest of the stretches, they're sort of kind of breaking the rules, but we're doing it in an informed way, such that this TFL band is never pushing directly down on the inflamed gluteus medius tendon, bursa, or the insertion point of the tendon on the bone, that we're all just configured not to go to the weak and painful areas in those structures. I'll show you the stretches. The first one's on our back with crossed legs with bent knee underneath. So we just grab the heel with a finger and thumb. We keep the knees close together, and we've got this arm out the side. We can just rock into the stretch. So rocking like that, The blood supply is good, we're really warming the area up. And once we're done 10 seconds of that, we can just push into the stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5, come out, let the blood supply back in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just get the idea from there. Okay, so that does stretch out the TFL, but if you feel the IT band below there, it's not too tight. It's only the front of it that's tight. It's not tight over the actual sore area. Stretch band windscreen wiper. Hey, it looks like I'm breaking all the rules here, leg across the body. But with the leg up here, the TFL and the IT band has come forward. And it's actually, the stretch is, if there is any, it's coming forward of the greater trochanter. Also, the stretch that's happening through the gluteus medius into the tendon, it's also working on an area of the tendon that is not usually being stretched and loaded in this position. Don't want to hold that too long. Back in again. So we find that this is a very good way to stretch out what needs stretched, but it's not in a position where we're loading the damaged structures so much, at least for most people. Let's take the leg wide. If it's a problem, well, do it gently or just don't do it until you can. But I find for just about everyone, this is a really good place to be. Wide, hang the leg wide, opposite hip down. That's got the blood supply back in here, and over we go. Final stretch, seated, crossed shins. So we're not cross-legged, we're, just bring that leg up, that's a crossed shin. And we push the knee down, the opposite knee goes out the side. Often when you've got a IT band problem and or a gluteus medius insertion problem, this is really tight and painful if you push into it, so just rock into it. And then we can move in and just hold, not for longer than 5 seconds. You know that there's tightness there, but it's not directly over the greater trochanter and the lower greater trochanter, so it's a good stretch. That's the strength work, muscle retraining, stretching and massage. Gluteus medius tendinitis.